All right, so we need a couple more buttons, right? We're old pros at this. Let's add a button. We'll give it a type of button. We'll give it a class of move-up and a class of button. Let's go ahead and create a child. It's the child selector. That is an I with a class of FA and one of FA dash. Let's have a look. And some arrows. Arrow up. Good enough for me. FA arrow up. I'm going to go ahead and copy this. There we go. Put in some line breaks for readability. Do it again for move down. Arrow down. Class move down. Have a look. What lovely buttons. Oh man. Now my style's all messed up. Life is bad. Two little buttons did all that. Well, yeah. Remember our width here? Minus 110 pixels? That's not enough anymore, is it? Each of these, that's like 80 pixels. 80. Where's my button? There's my button. 11. Oh yeah, that is. Not that though. What are you doing here? That is okay. 42. It's about 42. So yeah, another 84, 85. So let's make it minus 195. Refresh. That's enough room. Yeah. Looks pretty good. All right. We have new buttonses. Let's make them do something. Now, build list item is getting ridiculous. I do not approve. So I'm going to add a new method called setup actions. No comma necessary. Let's move this in there. So obviously we need to call that this dot setup actions. I use the li all over the place, so I'm going to need to pass that in. I need the student to pass along, so let's pass that in as well. Setup actions will take li and a student. Very good. Button dot move up. We'll call one called move up. Bind it to this, pass in the student. That seems reasonable. So let's write that. And we can put it under save. Move up. Move up will take the student and the event. Remember, the event gets passed in as the last one. Once again, we don't need to cancel it or anything. We are going to need to grab our li again. Then what do we do? We're going to have to move it in the array and move it on the page. Which one do you want to do first? Who wants to do the array first? Who wants to move the li first? Okay. Most people do not care. Anything to make class end sooner. We can go ahead and move the element. So how do we do that? What DOM method are we going to use? Take it from where it is and move it up. Move it up one. Who did this? Yeah. Insert before. Clayton. Insert before. So the way insert before works, we call it on the parent, right? So the parent is the UL. So that's easy. That's student list. Insert before. Okay, we give it the new child. That's LI. Now we need the previous one. How do we do that? Let's see if it happens to be really easy. You never know. Let's grab Alex here. Here's the LI, $0. $0 dot previ. Oh, look at that. Previous element sibling, previous sibling. Oh, that's so easy. What's the difference? Previous sibling, previous element sibling. Previous sibling could be a text node. Previous element sibling will definitely be an element. And that's what we want. Previous element sibling. So, previous element sibling. Too easy. Too easy. Refresh. Let's try and move an atom up. There he goes. Look at him go. Look at him go. Look at him go. And go and go and go. Well, hey, it worked until he got to the top, right? Not bad. So we might want to tell if he's already at the top. We could say if previous element sibling. What does previous element sibling even do for the top one? Let's see. Previous element sibling. Null. Yeah, so if we put an if around that, that would do it. Because null is falsy. Let's worry about that later. Let's concentrate on our array. What do we do with our array? More looping? There's got to be an easier way. Think there's an easier way? Let's see. No, the answer was right there. I didn't see that. Let's see. What kind of functions do we have on array? Yeah. Okay. So let's see. Array has all kinds of great functions on it. All these iteration methods, these are the ones we're interested in. These are the ones that look at all the things and do a thing, right? Like map. So we've got entries. We've got every. Returns true if every element in this array satisfies the provided testing function. That's cool. Filter creates a new array with all of the ones for which the provided filtering function returns true. Find returns the found value in the array if an element in the array satisfies the provided testing function, or undefined if not found. And then there's findIndex. So find and findIndex look like good stuff. And we don't really need to find the student because we already have it. But finding the index would be helpful. Shall we? This dot students dot findIndex. First argument, the predicate. It takes a callback. So we'll put a little anonymous function in here. The first parameter to the callback is the element, the current thing in the array. So let's call it current student, something like that. Second one is the index, so I. The third one is the array find was called upon. We don't need that. We already have it. So I'm just not going to bother. JavaScript does not enforce the number of parameters. So what does this thing do? Sounds like satisfies the provided testing function. So this needs to return true or false. It should return true for the right one. So all this needs to do is compare the IDs. So we can just return current student .id to student .id. And if it's true, it'll return that index. So let's make sure we save it somewhere. Const index. Now we learned that we could one-line this, right? If it's one line, you don't need the curly braces. And in fact, it will return whatever you put up there. So we could just say arrow and then that comparison, but that line would end up being a little long, so I'm not going to. So now we have the index. What do we do with that? Well, for one thing, we've learned that it will return undefined if it never found it. So we could say if index before we do anything else. That way, if it's the top, we won't start moving it off into space. Let's see if that solved that problem already. Move Alex up, move Alex further up. Oh, really? Yeah, now it's not moving. Oh, Matt won't move any further, but Alex did. What's up with that? It's stopping me from moving him. Let's look at our array. Right. We never did that part. But the index still should have been there. Oh. Wait, yeah, not if index. If index is greater than 0 is what I meant. So if it's the first element in the array, the index will be 0. Undefined is not greater than 0 either. So now, refresh, can't move it. Okay, seriously. What? Like, yeah, we still didn't change the array. We didn't change the darn array. We have to change the array before that check will work. Let's change the array. So what do? If index is greater than 0, what? How do we move it inside the array? Find the previous item and swap them? Sound reasonable? I don't suppose there's like some neat thing for that. String, slice, last sentence, add, join, cat, unshift, splice, sort, shift, reverse. Yeah, that reverses the whole thing. Push, pop, fill, copy within. Yeah, that's all the mutator methods. Okay, so let's find it. Const previous student is what? This student's index minus 1. Then let's set this student's index minus 1 equal to the current student. Well, student. And then let's set this student's sub I, or index rather, to previous student. Now what do? We just changed our state, right? Don't forget to save it to local storage. We'll move these like this. How's that look? Refresh. Now let's move Alex up and further. Can't do it. Move Adam, move Adam, move Adam. Can't do it. So let's not make the user think they can do it. Let's change the way that's displayed. We learned about first child earlier. We didn't end up using that, but we learned about it. So what if we look for a move up button that's inside the first child, the student that is the first child? Putting first child on the button wouldn't help because it's not the first child of its parent ever. But what if we say within something with a class of student that is the first child of its parent, we look for a button with a class of move up. So I've said a couple times that a space means something in a selector. It means descendant. So this means a button with a class of move up that is a descendant of an element with a class of student that is the first child of its parent. This means child of, this means descendant of, which means there could be something in between. And in this case there is, right? There's div.actions. So what do? To the move up button inside the first student, let's change the background color to gray. Let's change the font color to a lighter gray. It's going to be the color of the icon. And let's change the cursor to not allowed. Refresh. Top one's grayed out. Move my cursor over it. Oh, look at that. Isn't that special? Nice little usability touch. Click it, doesn't do a darn thing. I like it. I think we've implemented move up. Now I think you have the wherewithal to do move down, having done that. Don't you? Yes, Uncle Dave, we sure do. Day for homework. Make move down work if you haven't already. You know what else would be cool? An edit button. What if we could click a button and change the name of an existing student right in place? How the heck would we do that? We could make it really hard. We could have a form that's hidden in there, an edit form that looks a lot like, I mean, not maybe it doesn't look like it, but that's just like the new form. And when we click edit, it takes out that span and puts that in, or it hides the one and shows the other. Then as soon as we save, we hide it again. Be nice if there were another way. This span that has the name in it, what we really want is to make that content editable. We want to make its content editable. So, allow the editing of student names after they're already in the list. Gee, it would be nice if I could make that spans content editable. Well, you probably have to Google something, I don't know what. Super mega bonus credit hyper fighting. Have a nice weekend.